our county staff have not been paid for months. They must be paid. We agree on the funding of county government, even with additional resources. We set that aside. We are not debating on that. But what I want us to engage our mind in is, if we are made, for example, in this mediation, our recommendation is that we move from 380 to even 410 of disbursement. If we are made upwards, it is not a matter of disbursement. It is a matter of legality. So we need to, you note that if we agree on the figure, then we also have to handle that on the supplementary. And lastly, so that Dr. Chikati comes in, the shortfall of revenue that we put, this was the context, honorable members. This year has been unprecedented. So the argument of the National Assembly was this: if we allocate 400 billion to county governments, and our revenue projection, because we deal with projections in the budget, was 2.5 trillion. Suppose there is a year that is as unprecedented as this one, and we have a shortfall of 1 trillion in revenues. We have a shortfall of 500 billion, beyond what we have always thought can be, or the limit. So our argument was, supposing that came, and we have a shortfall of 700 billion. So Honorable Sifuna, what does that mean? We will have carryovers. Honorable members, this issue of carryovers is actually an under-budgeting. That's what we must know. Why? The county governments were to get 385 billion shillings. They got 355 by the close of the financial year. And you know, government is continuous, is a revolving door. So any money you get after the closure of the period, that is money that you are expending on the next financial year. It becomes even difficult if that perpetuates. If we have a shortfall this financial year and we have carryovers of 50 billion, if we have a perpetual 30 billion or 50 billion, we carry as carryovers. Honorable members, let's not lie to ourselves. It basically means the allocation for revenue for our county governments is the figure in the budget. There's the carryovers. That is the truth. Honorable Dr. Chikati, please.
Thank you, Chair. I want to agree with
the Chair is requesting, he gives you the pleasure to invite you.
Yes, yes.
Sorry, the point of information my co-chair gave, I just want to add a small bit of legal, information that we also need to be cognizant of. Officially, the mediation has begun today. Legally, we have 30 days within which we need to agree or disagree. But if it does not happen within the 30 days, then this flops completely on DORA. So this amendment bill dies, natural death. And then what does that translate to? The substantive Division of Revenue Act, as assented to in law, will remain in place. However, the precarious situation that my co-chair discussed, which is that bit of the information was what I needed to add, is that then CARA has to be resubmitted. But for us to override the memorandum of the president, we need 2/3 in both houses for it to pass. In the actual sense, it is a very complicated situation ahead that we really need to deal with. If we disagree, the default act for DORA will be in place, and then passage of CARA also will become susceptible to extreme politics, which becomes a challenge. Honorable Karibu.
Thank you, Chair. I want to agree with you on one thing, on asking us to be objective in our discussions. And I think one of the issues of objectivity here is, do we share what we have or what we don't have? Do we want figures on papers and so that it remains at that level? Or we want to be realistic and say, this is the shortfall in terms of revenue collection, and therefore sharing of any revenue is based on what is available. Okay. Okay, so that you look at that 400 billion as against 380. Okay, because what is being advanced is that what is available from our side is what should be shared. The second thing, Chair, you allow me to think loud. Here is there is a court case on RMLF, and here there is need for discussion on the division of the revenue bill. Okay, first of all, the court case implies this mistrust. Okay, why should you discuss with people you mistrust? These are the questions that we need to look at. Why can't you withdraw the court case so that you give an environment of free discussions? Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Ndindi was speaking. He says that this is an unprecedented year. But Honorable Ochengi has just said that KRA has reported a surplus of 6 billion this month in actuals versus projections. They have reported a surplus of 6 billion. They have over collected by 6 billion. So that means things are looking up very well. The other thing I wanted to point out is that at the time the budget was being discussed early in February, the exchange rates were at 160 to the dollar, 160 shillings to the dollar. Now we're at 129. So things are looking very well for this country.
Chair, I just want to correct the senator from Mombasa. We need to aggregate for the whole year. One-off situation alone cannot excite us to a point we believe things are okay. Even if you look at the World Bank analysis of the Kenyan economy and IMF, it's fairly negative. It's not positive. So one-off should not really bring us some form of excitement that cannot hold water over the long run. Secondly, and the chair of your co-chair has raised a fundamental issue. We have already passed the appropriation bill. It's an act of parliament. And it came to us through a presidential memorandum, and the wisdom of the framers of the Constitution made it very clear for anybody to override the presidential memorandum, you need majority, a constitutional majority. And looking at the process, we normally pass the appropriation bill, then we pass DORA. It's the other way around. Yes, we already passed. Because the National Assembly already passed, it came here, and the other one is already passed. Now, we want us to look at the technicality, the challenges that we have. If we agree, if in any way we agree on an increase, we means we have to amend the appropriation bill, which is not possible in the circumstances. So we just need to be very clear. And also just wanted to clarify on the issue of KIPE. KIPE is discretionary. It's not mandatory for all counties. I say so because I see it in the Committee of Trade, Industry and Cooperative that oversights this program. It's discretionary. Actually, as we stand now, we are only dealing with 18 counties. Not all the 47 counties have got this program. So again, being included here as one of the reasons they need extra money is not really the issue. It's discretionary, it's not mandatory. And as we clearly say, and as we have said, we are not the final arbiter in this matter. We will take it to the floor of the House. And I can tell you, without even lying to you, if I lie to you, it would be unfair. That it will not see the light of the day until the elephant in the house is resolved. RLMF, I can assure you. It's good to tell you the truth. Instead of lying to you here, that we can pass it, then it will not. I can tell you the truth. So let's be realistic on this matter. And that's why we are saying...
And it's very objective as it is. So we finish that. We'll have a few minutes break, just a few minutes, so that both sides can agree that we move to framing of the issues. But because I can see on the side of the Senate, we are on the issue. On the side of National Assembly, at least 2 members out of the 5 that were here hold a different view so that we're able to move. Otherwise, if we move to framing the issue and then the members take, every time you speak, you'll be taking back to the issue of RMLF, then we are not making any progress. And with that in mind, I want to persuade you that I give Honorable Kiplagat the last chance to say something. Okay, Senator Sifuna, you will be the last. And then, Co-Chair, and to request that we have a few minutes break. So we agree on moving to framing of the issue or calling off the meeting, for that matter.
Okay. A slightly different opinion. Very slight. I would really want us to finish up with this matter because a lot is clogging out of this process. But this is the but. The buck is not stopping here. That is the truth of the matter. The National Assembly is where I sit. I know the mood. So when you see these members talking, please, members, don't take it as their personal opinion. The last time what we did is this. We could borrow from it. The contentious issue in all the mediations, if you check, in all the minutes, is always the matter that we all know, and I'm not referring to it here. That issue that the members are raising. And from 2021, just check the minutes. There is always a case. Always. Even when we were debating on this one, there was a case. Even the previous one, there was a case. So in the year 2020, either 2020, 2021, or thereabout, maybe they can clarify, what happened is that in such a mediation, the president actually intervened, the then president. And what was agreed is that the exact amount that governors are losing for RMLF, they were given directly now in the DORA to compensate, because it's a fight of resources, which is a credible fight. Now, the question that now we faced the last time when we took the National Assembly, those who were there then were saying, but you already give this money directly through DORA. It may not explicitly read roads, but it was added in that context. Even the last mediation which I co-chaired, that was the case. The discussion was, there is a case. So we decided with our governors, I met them, the COG. They said, you look for a manner to give us some money. We know when you take to the National Assembly any issue around the RMLF, we know it will not pass. That was their word. But give us the resources through other routes. We give them through county additional allocation, SIGA. We give them 4 billion, but in hell. But it was compensating for this other loss. Now, when we go to the National Assembly, the question is, the 10 we packed in DORA is already there, because it was never removed. We have now packed another 4 billion in SIGA to compensate for this other one. So I'm laying the facts bare as they are, the reasoning of the National Assembly. So in my opinion, whatever let us know the temperatures, so that we fight, is it actually prudent to pass it today, or is it better to consult so that all stakeholders then agree before the meeting, so that the meeting will just be for ratification? Justly, let's not run away in it. And lastly, let's not run away from this issue of SIGA, saying RMLF is there. The trade-off, honorable members, in this kind of a discussion goes to SIGA and goes to DORA. When the COG has gone to court, we all know they have gone to court for bargaining. So the court is in SIGA. But the National Assembly also, what they have at heart is DORA. So let's also have that in mind.
Yes. Give Kiplagat something, and then Senator Sifuna, then we'll go from there.
Thanks, Chair. At least now I like the mood of the chair. So I don't want to go back on what happened now that the mood is good and I can see we are heading in the right direction. Basically, because I didn't go to the substantive matter the other time, allow me to just agree with what my honorable members from the National Assembly have raised, and I will want to associate myself fully with those sentiments. One is that you will agree with me, Chair, we are in a precarious situation we have never found ourselves since independence, that we had a finance bill 2024 which was actually raising 342 billion for purposes of additional revenue, but because of what happened, which we all know, we don't need to labor on it on what happened, that bill did not go through. Then, basically, Chair, the act that we are currently using to collect our revenue is Finance Act 2023. So it follows naturally from the rule of natural justice is that you will have to rewind ourselves, each level of government, including Parliamentary Service Commission, including judiciary, including the county government. They will have to rewind back from 2024 to 2023. So basically, if I flow with my comments, then I know Honorable Sifuna, Senator Sifuna, will raise the issue of then the 385, which is now debatable, the 385 in 2023. So it's a matter now that we can debate as to, looking at the figures, what happened to the 5 billion. But in terms of agreeing ourselves that we need to rewind back to 2023, I think that is a common sense issue. It's a common sense issue. And even if I've seen what the senators are raising in terms of the additional requirements by the counties, which are a bit mandatory in terms of personal emoluments like housing levy, social, what do you call, NSSF. But basically, even the national government, they have those obligations. But the national government has been forced to cut their size by 325 billion. But we are only telling the counties, because your fiscal space is a bit small, just cut it by 20 billion. So I think in terms of framing up issues, the way Honorable Cheng had put it up, is we need actually to agree. If we, I know all of us are sensible, is we go back to 2023. Then, having gone back to 2023, then figuratively we can be told now from, and the chair and my chair budget is there, why 380 and not 385. So I think that is a point of discussion. Secondly, as I finish, is that we are here to find a solution. And looking at it, the minefields in terms of legally where we are. Legally where we are, in terms of CARA, the President has given us a memoranda. That memoranda, we can either override through raising 2/3 in both houses, or the President's memoranda takes effect. Yeah. I don't know. So as we also look at the DORA, and I want to beg you, Chair, is that let all of us, we are in one government, especially now that we are in broad-based, we are in one government. Let us accept that we reduce the number of court cases and see where we are, because I can, from reading the Honorable Sifuna's mind, he can say that this is something that can be pursued in court as to happens when you have a DORA which is saying something else and you have a CARA which is saying something else. But we have a country to protect, we are a country to govern, we have a country to develop. And we all accept that what happened in this situation, nobody found themselves here, and all the other arms of government have accepted. The national government has accepted, the executive has accepted, the legislature has accepted, the judiciary has accepted. It's only one arm of government, the county government, that are still jittery on that issues of tightening our belt. So it is something that, looking at the legalistic issues that we have, whether even if we were to agree, even if we were to agree to add maybe the 5 billion, how shall we add? And you have heard the chair saying that to add even 1 shilling, you have to do a lot of amendments in other fields. You cannot look at 1 month revenue, because it is a month to month. They accumulate. Maybe there is something that happens, taxpayers were paying, and maybe the next month they will shrink a bit. So we need to also get from the treasury what is actually the outlook in terms of revenue collection. So all this data that we need for us to be able to make a conclusive agreement, we use over this weekend. We make sure that by Monday or Tuesday, if we meet, we have all the data that we need. Secondly, all the items we have agreed that we need to mediate on, we have agreed, but you have taken now that step outside, which is a feeling, you know, it's a feeling. In the National Assembly, you take it over the weekend, go somewhere with your governors and things like that, and come with the good news, so that as we debate and we are at least in a fresh air, kind of. Thank you,
Senator Sifuna, and then we want to take that break. Senator Sifuna.
You know, Chair, the co-chair from the National Assembly, I think now the basis of my mistrust has been confirmed, because you have made it clear, and at least I have understood you to mean, that the sole intention of the members of the National Assembly who are a part of this mediation is to use this mediation to blackmail the entire county government infrastructure so that you get what you want. When the Constitution under Article 96 talks about us as a Senate being representatives of the county governments and their interest, it doesn't mean that I am the legal representative of the county governments or their lawyers. We are not their lawyers. So I find it extremely disingenuous and very disrespectful for members of this committee to suggest that we can find a way to have a sitting with the county governors so that we force them to withdraw a case that they have filed under their constitutional right to question things in courts of law. So if indeed the entire reason for this mediation is so that the National Assembly can blackmail all of us so that they get what they want, then there is no reason for us to sit here. Honorable Chair, it has become extremely clear that the Division of Revenue now has been taken up hostage by the National Assembly, and it will not be released until they get their RMLF money. The chair from the National Assembly doesn't want to mention a fund because he knows this is what they do every single time. The fund he has refused to mention is a CDF. Last time, because there was a court case, they used this process to manipulate and to blackmail all of us so that they get what they want. It is extremely unfair. And because Honorable Undo has taken time to read to me my roles, I also want to remind him that under Article 95(2), the National Assembly is required to resolve issues of concern to the people, not issues of concern to members of the National Assembly. It cannot be that you always front-load issues of CDF and RMLF because they are of concern to members of the National Assembly, are not of concern to the people. Even when you are mentioning this issue of the presidential memorandum, you are threatening us that we will not be able to raise 2/3 in both houses. Yet just last week, a few weeks ago, there was a grave matter here where raising 2/3 of the members of the National Assembly and the Senate was not a problem. Where have those 2/3 gone? No wonder the public are criticizing us, that when it is issues to do with us, politicians, it's very easy for us to raise these numbers. But when it is questions to do with the public, Honorable...
You, on the issues you raised, and please forgive me if I refer to other mediations, is not a proof of experience. It is a proof of I've been there, I saw. Last time when we met with the Council of Governors, and I'll be very bare on it, I was lucky to get governors who've been members of parliament. together with the other governors. The chair, outgoing chair of COG was there. Honorable Wanga was there. I actually never said it. Honorable Wanga was very forthright with them. He told them, as you negotiate, these are the likely political advice that you may get. So if we want to sound sophisticated and we want to sound very official, I'll go with Honorable Sifuna. Let's raise the issues. Let's even conclude our mediation meeting today, and we proceed to the National Assembly. If that is what we want, we are very agreeable. However, I don't think the mandate of this mediation is to finish the meeting quickly. Neither is it to present the report. From where I sit, the mandate of this mediation is to successfully unlock the monies. If that is what we have in mind, Honorable Sifuna, unfortunately, we will not run away from the fact that this report will end up in the Senate, and this report will end up in the National Assembly. And for sure, as the light comes in the morning, Honorable Sifuna, is that without addressing the underlying issues, I am just being honest. Let me finish. I am not. I have been there. I know for sure. No.
Senator Sifuna, allow him to finish, please.
Honorable Sifuna,
finish.
You know the same thing, the same reasoning, and I'm telling you, today just come to the National Assembly, interact with members. In fact, I usually feel the cases around the FAD are always now the blackmail. The reasoning of the Senate, as you say, the reasoning of the National Assembly is that the COG uses the case to blackmail the process. And that is the fact. So we can move forward, but I've given you the atmosphere in the National Assembly, and we can't run away from it.
My proposal, Chair, just one thing. My proposal, now that we have added the comments, why don't we adjourn until next week, and then maybe when we meet, we will have handled most of the issues. Yeah.
Chair, you refuse me to speak.
Honorable Kiplagat, I guided that we don't just pick the mic and speak, so that we're able to get a bit of discussion in an orderly manner.
Chair, please don't assume.
We are not getting it. Anyway, it's not issue of counter-argument. I just want to say we take, with all the facts having said, the issue is whether we discuss today, we discuss next week, the underlying issues will not end. With a clear mandate of this committee, can we take a break of about 20 minutes, please? We consult and we come back here with whether we can agree on the mandate of the committee as guided by both houses, or because of the impending controversial issue, we suspend the discussion. Because why I say this is because unless we have it clear, we can move forward. Honorable Co-Chair. Okay, now can we just take the 20 minutes break, all of us? We come back after 20 minutes. Please consult during that 20 minutes as to, remember, going through an exercise in futility is not good. You understand? Because if you believe we're not going to make any progress and it's a predetermined position, then no matter how objective issues are shared, we are not going to progress, right? I think consult, and that is the essence of mediation. A little bit of break, consult, and the honorable senators have offered, you can use the lounge next door, the Senate lounge, and we can be left in here. I think it's lunchtime. We can have. I think okay. I had not looked at the time, considering it's almost 1 o'clock. I think it's even more logical that we take 1 hour lunch break and we reconvene here. Secretariat, lunch is provided for this. Okay. Courtesy of the chair, the chair of budget and appropriation, Senate is not properly funded. So you can reach at the National Assembly. Thank you very much. I think the meeting is adjourned. We reconvene at 2 o'clock. Thank you very much.